first of all, just thanks everyone for joining us, Diego and I today. We've been doing these webinars last year a lot, but it's our first webinar for 2025. They were well received last year, and so we thought we better get back into them again and really share as much value as we can. So anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Ben Hawkey, and we run a company called Real Growth and Connect. Real Growth is a marketing company that helps agents with their digital marketing, and Connect is a prospecting software. And everyone knows who Diego is, and this is why everyone's joining Diego on this webinar today. Today, what I'd love to cover is the 3 prospecting strategies that will help you increase your appraisals, increase the number of referrals you get in your business, and even your repeat business through personalized email, direct to voicemail, text message prospecting. Then what we're going to do is we're going to actually give you a real time demonstration where you can actually try out this text message strategy live on the call, and everyone can do it along with us. And then we're going to talk about how you can leverage every listing campaign that you're currently running to build your database and even get and generate more listings off the back of that. So that's the plan for today. And thank you for joining us, Diego. So before we start, I just added this slide in before this presentation started because we're always doing webinars. We're speaking to thousands of people a year, whether it's via webinar, face-to-face, in person in offices. And one of the most common themes I've found is the theme of inaction. So people love to learn, but they don't often put a lot of these things into action. And a quote that I really like is, "The only true learning is learning that leads to action." And so I hope today you'll not only learn something, but you might put some of these strategies into action. So Diego, let's kick things off. I'll bring you in now. People have come to see you and not hear me speak. So you've spoken in the past, Diego, about your kind of personalized suburb-specific emails. Can you kind of talk about, what exactly they are and how you do that? And then we can talk about why you do it and the impact it's had, but more around the how and the what. This is your email marketing strategy.
Absolutely. And look, just to add on to what you said, that quote, I couldn't agree more. The first scene talking to so many agents is just, and I understand it can be daunting when you're looking to build a business, build a profile. There's so much to do and sometimes not enough hours. That's how I started my career. Wanted to take over the world and not having enough manpower because I was a one-man band really at the start. So everything that I've done over the years is sort of improved to a point that it's for me to save time. It started for me to save time. How can I be in front of as many people as I possibly can without spending too much time? I call them point of contacts, point of touch. How many point of touch can I have with one person without them going, man, he's hounding me? You don't want that. So, and here's what the first strategy, answering your first question, the monthly email. Okay, so everyone would agree that every email that is received, it's the majority of them are spam. I don't know you, but I get up every morning, clear my email. I might have 10 inquiries and 20 different spam, even if I keep deleting and unsubscribing. And the unsubscribing here is what the issue is, right? You send a mail out from Vault, from whatever CRM system you're using. Well, they can see that it's a spam because legally you need to have an unsubscribe option. So even if you don't put any picture, it's just text, you can see that it's spam. Now, of course, the only alternative to that is to send individual emails to every single person in your database, which take a long time. But again, it's like everything. It's if you live in a certain location, you might have 10 different suburbs that you're sort of targeting, or you've got people in your database that live in 10 different suburbs, whatever that might be. And it's quite easy to find the data for those suburbs. You go on Rains, you can location profile, put the suburb that you want to get some information. It tells you the average days, that tells you the medium prices and all of that. It's enough information there. And then it's very easily then to divide it and have template that goes out to all the people in one suburb, another template goes out to people in the other suburb. Therefore, you can actually email every single person in your database. And I've got about 2,000 people, and I call that this is my prospecting database. Okay, we've got a buyers database, but this is my prospecting database. It's not a big number, 2,000 people. There are probably people that have done real estate for less than me and have a bigger number than that. But nevertheless, this is 2,000 people of clean data, and they get an email from me once a month saying, "Hey, Mark, hey, Ben, here is the highest and lowest sale for Timaru Central, whatever suburb you live in." So I'm not very familiar with your side of the world. The point of it is that it's not an unsubscribable email. It's information around the suburbs that they live in, and it tells them what's the lowest and highest sell price in the area. Now, very, very rarely, I will get one person in my database saying, "Can you stop emailing me?" Very, very rarely. When it happens, you'll delete them and it's fine. The reality is that doing that, it might take our team in the Philippines a day to do that. So, you just got to do one by one. It takes a bit of time. It's fine. There's nothing you can do about it. But that is very, very powerful. It's from me to you, and it doesn't have an option of unsubscribing because it's not a
personalized email.
Yeah.
And so you're personalizing the email based on the suburb they're in. It's specifically tailored for them. It's relevant because I obviously get a lot of emails from agents. I'm on their database, and it's just kind of the generic, "Hey, this is what we've been doing this month. This is what us. It's all about us." It sounds like it's more personalized. This is what's going on in the market around you, and it's a short, sharp, text-based email. Is that correct?
That's correct. And in the email every month you'll have one paragraph blurb of your thoughts on the market. Of course, it's addressed to potential vendors, so optimism is always the key. But it's realism as well. And the reason why, for me, it's you're right. As a lot of agents, it's always, "I'm the best. I've sold this many. I've done this." Eventually gets tired, and everyone says the same thing. So in my opinion, if you're a professional agent, it's not about saying how many. And look, I've got posts on social media that will say how many we sold last month, just to keep track, to see where the market is, how many buyers we've met. But you can't just say that only. And my job is to show the market what the market is doing. So let's start from that point.
Yeah. And so basically you're turning this email almost into a voicemail, correct, as well? Am I jumping the gun?
Oh, no. I like the segue, and I can see how you got prepared. No, very well. Look, let's actually take it one step back. I would say that in my mind, I've got, whether you are a buyer or whether you're a vendor, if you ask me today what the market is doing, I will ask if you're a buyer or a vendor because it's important for me to understand that. But the answer is the same. A lot of people will go like, "Oh, are you a vendor? Oh, if you're a vendor, it's a good time to sell. Oh, you're a buyer. Oh, it's a good time to buy." Well, I'll tell you not, because I had a conversation just before we jumped on, and people ask me, well, every day, but I just had a conversation about 10 minutes before jumping in with you, and they ask, "What was the market doing? Potential vendor." And I say this to them: "Hey, look, I'll tell you in one sentence. January was busier than expected. February was quieter than expected." And I can tell you more about it, but that's how I summarize it. But I'll tell that to a vendor, I'll tell that to a buyer. Then you take it to the next level. Okay, if there is a buyer, we'll say, "Well, of course, it's not as busy as we would like." Well, that's where I'm living at the moment. I know different parts of New Zealand, different sort of markets, but there is reasons why it's a little bit quieter. OCR was just announced. There's a lot of buyers about to come back into the market. We already seen the phone started ringing. So although the last 2 weeks was a little bit quieter than expected, I'm seeing a lot. So you gotta finish it with the angle of where you want to finish it, but the answer has to be the same. So when it comes to voicemail, it's the same message, but done in a different way. I use a company, I've got no association with them, Tricall. They should give it to me for free because basically I talk about it all the time. I'm sure there is other providers out there. If they are and they're cheaper, let me know.
Broadcast is another one.
Live broadcast. Okay.
So do you want to explain exactly what it does? How it's Live broadcast?
It's very straightforward. It's a website called you basically load your database onto the website. So I load my phone numbers, and then those people will receive a missed call from an unknown number. And then there will be a message saying "new voicemail" in your inbox. They open a new voicemail, and it will be me talking about the market for about 60 seconds. I do that once a quarter. I used to do it monthly. I think like everything, you can get a little bit repetitive, especially if you're in your database, you want a strategy that you attract you can push out as much information as possible to as many people as possible. But it's definitely the relevant type of information, right? And I don't think no one wants to get once a month a market update, but I think every 3 months, hearing someone saying what's happening, broadly speaking, in the market, it's of use. And if it is not, ask me, I'll remove you from it, of course, right? But the point of it, I'll do it every 3 months. It costs me, cost me a bit of money because it's almost 2,000 phone numbers that I've got in there. Actually about 2,000 phone numbers. So, it's probably cost me a bit of money, but it's well worth it because that's another point of contact, right? And me recording on my iPhone, uploading it and sending it out, I swear to God, with a few interruptions, it takes me 10 minutes. So it's a very easy way to be in front of 2,000 people and only spending 10, 15 minutes.
It makes complete sense. So just kind of to summarize, you're doing 12 emails a year minimum, maybe more, touching base directly with them with a personalized suburb specific email. And then every quarter, 4 times a year, they're getting a voicemail, direct to voicemail from you using a tool like Tricall or Slide Broadcast to giving them an update on what's going on in the market. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's so far we're at minimum 16 touch point, 16 touch points. And then you're using text message as well in the business as well, correct? To keep in touch and have those points of contact.
Yeah, of course. And that's where Connect comes in. These days, if you're watching this, is recorded on the last month in February 2025. It's been probably 2 years that I don't want to call myself lucky, blessed. I worked very hard, but I appreciate it. I can say this, and a lot of people don't experience this. I don't do any outbounds in terms of inquiries, prospecting or getting listings. Yes, the database gets serviced by me email, and yes, I'll do the voicemail, but I don't do any strategy of door knocking myself or calling people. If the phone rings, I'm blessed and I'll take the business. But there is one prospecting that I actually do myself that I probably spend about half an hour every week. It's my calendar. On a Friday to do it for half an hour. And that's when I jump on Connect. And I use it differently than most people do. So what I'm saying today is not applying for everyone. 9 years into real estate and 1,000 homes, that's where I am. So I use it differently. I jump on Connect, and on Connect, I got my 2,000 vendors that I've got in my database loaded up, and I go just listed and the properties that I just sold last week. And that's all I do. So my own listing, I've got listings that I've got always a lot of sales and a new listing. And I invite my database to the open rooms, and I'll let them know once the property is sold. That's the only outreach I do on Connect at the moment. Before, until, probably I'd use Connect from the very first day, I believe. At the start, I was doing it as well to broaden my old database or any sale. I was trying to get in front of as many people as possible. Now I just service my database to let them know if I have a property close by and once the property is sold. And that's the only thing I do myself. Why? Because that's a conversation with the vendor is tracked. I'm happy to share my screen if you want. Like
Show us how it works. Yeah,
I'll do it. The amount of let me just finish with this. The amount of what's my center choice? The conversation that I'm having over the years with vendors, I need to see myself before I send a message out. I want to be sure that it's relevant for them to know that, right? And because of that, it's directly from me to the vendor. I do that myself. My PAs don't do it. So the only prospecting that I actually do myself is the text messaging because it's so powerful. So let me just share my screen and comment. So okay, so this is a new listing that I have. I'm just going to do it pretty quickly because I don't really want the information to come out. But in essence, what I do is I send a text message to my vendors that live in an area sort of diameter. I think it was 500 square meter from there. Now, as you see, I just without getting too much into confidential information here. See how many messages I've sent to this person? The last probably 10 they have not replied. And that's absolutely fine. I don't care if they don't reply. They are hearing from me about a property that I sold or that I've listed. And eventually, the day that they're going to be calling me back, because frankly, everyone in my database is not looking to sell tomorrow, they're definitely going to call me back again. And when I do this type of messaging, I get a lot of engagement back at times. People saying, "Hey, can you send me a revised appraisal, or let's move forward." So that is my point of contact with my database. It's done through Connect. It's done through text messaging. I don't call them. I don't. Yes, they get an email, but that goes out to everyone, right? So it's a little bit different. But me directly, that's the only prospecting I do.
Got you. Yeah. And so what are you sending every 60 days on average? Someone's getting once every couple of months, they're getting a text from you, or
I would say so. Like, okay, I closed there, so I didn't want to be sharing
no, it's
like
okay.
that. But if I look at this last person, let me see. So we've got one, two. So that was December, November, September. So yeah, basically every month or two, depending if I have a listing or a sale in
Yep.
the area. But so say even if it is every 2 months, that's another 6 point of context. So now we're
Yep.
at 22, right?
Yeah. We're at 20 22 touch points a year with with someone on your database through multiple different channels. And
We haven't even talked about social media and the thing that I can't really, frankly, measure because, but yes, that's, and there is other strategies. I'm happy to discuss more, of course, but that is, if you see that as a basic, I think it's decent.
yeah, 100%. 20 touch points a year with the contact is significantly more than most agents are actually doing. You know, most agents are focusing on the listings I've got right now, and they're forgetting about someone they did an appraisal for 8 months ago because they're so focused on the here and now that they don't have a system and a process in place to have those touch points. One thing that I'm changing things up today, and I'm excited to try this. This is going to give everyone the chance now to log into Connect to give it a go. So Diego, you can do this as well, but you've already. So everyone scan this QR code, open up your phone, scan this QR code, and I'm going to give you a dummy account live right now. So you're going to hover your camera over the QR code. It's going to bring up a website, and now I'm going to give you the login details. So hopefully everyone's got that in time, but test@gmail.com is the email you're going to use. And the password is test1234. Now, I'll quickly go back. If anyone who was a bit slow at scanning that QR code, but remember the email is test@gmail.com and the password, all lowercase, test1234. So hopefully everyone now is logged in, and I'll give you a few extra seconds to do that. Diego, you logged in?
Yeah.
You're probably already logged into your own account. But this is for people who had never used Connect, and I want to show you what Diego was just doing before. So once you're logged in, you're going to see all of the local sales that have happened relevant to the people on that specific database. Now, I've loaded 2 people into this database for you, and it's myself and myself. So you can text those people because it's going to come to my number. So I want to walk through step by step how it works. And because we're all doing it together as a group, we need to go step by step. Otherwise, it might ruin it for everyone else. But I want you to select the most recent sale. So this is a recent sale that's happened. I uploaded this sale manually, so it's not an actual sale that happened, but I uploaded this sale manually. And then you're going to see in the map view the people on your database who live near that specific sale. So based on the location of the sale, it's going to highlight everyone on my database who lives nearby. And then if you scroll down, feel free to message James Hawkey or Ben Hawkey. They all go to the same one of the number, and click send. Now, when you click send, it's going to create a text message to that person. Now, you can personalize and tweak and adjust that text message, but it's going to say, hi, James, I thought you might be interested to know XYZ property just around the corner from you just recently sold for, 860,000. Hey, no, not looking to sell, but it's always nice to know what's selling around you. If you'd like more information on the sale, just let me know. Have a great day. So that's a touch point that Diego's kind of doing, but he's doing it with his own sales, but you can do it with any sale. Now hit send, you're going to send that text message, and then you're going to click back. So if you're at a Safari, you're going to go to the top left-hand corner and you go back to Safari. Or if you're on a normal phone, another Android, just click back, go back to the Connect app. Did you send the message? Yes, it's sent, and it's marked as a sale. So as Diego said, he's sending a text message once every, say, 60 days. That would be my suggestion as well, is just touching base via text. It's only 6 touch points a year, but it's keeping people up to date with what's been selling in the area. So hopefully, it's hard to do this at scale with everyone, like, 50 something agents on the webinar all at once. But hopefully it gives you an idea on how you can use Connect. That's just a dummy account. You can play around with this account. You can do a few other things. You can go to the database, purchase anniversary. You can send out purchase anniversary messages. So you can have a play around with this after the webinar. So yeah, I hope you found that of value. It's a lot more engaging if you can actually try it out yourself. So feel free to play around with that. To give you kind of a quick summary, what Connect does is it allows you to send personalized text messages about recent sales, recent listings, home anniversaries to the people on your database from your own cell phone number. So on average, the average Connect user has about 190 homeowners in their database. So they don't have a big database like Diego of 2,000 homeowners. The average user has about 190 homeowners. But on average, they generate 3 extra listings per year using Connect. So another 30K in additional revenue. Now, we haven't shared these stats because we've been quite a new company, but now we're 2 years in business. We're getting some averages. There are a lot of people who get 0 listings from Connect. The reason? They're not using it consistently, like someone like Diego. And we've got people who use it consistently. They get 10, 15 listings extra a year. So it really depends on how committed you are and how consistent you are. But if you're having 6 to 12 touch points a year with Connect, you can expect to pick up some extra listings off the back of that. I don't know, Diego, while I'm kind of on that, is there any kind of, you probably don't know the exact numbers because you're having so many touch points with so many different people through so many different channels, but would you say Connect has helped you kind of pick up more appraisals, pick up more listings in your database?
I couldn't put a number on it, but I'll tell you what, if it didn't, I wouldn't be spending, weekly amount of time myself doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, if one thing from out of today, like there's if you're not doing text messaging as a strategy, of course, yeah, I don't think, yeah, let's not even, there will be, yeah. But if you're actually doing it and doing it like what most people do, there's one by one text message, takes forever. And this is your shortcut. So this is your way around this. So if you want to save time and actually be in front of like hundreds of people in less than an hour individually and get conversation out of that, well, this is the place to be.
Yeah. I appreciate that. So we're going to dive into a few other strategies as well, but just really quickly on that, we have a 10-day free trial for Connect, but I thought, why not create some urgency? If you want to give it a crack for 30 days free, we've got a 30-day free trial for anyone who signs up today. So there's a QR code there, which will take you to our website. And on the Connect website, you can sign up for a 10-day trial. I'll extend that out from 10 days to 30 days for anyone who signs up today. So it's pretty straightforward for me. My suggestion is just to start on the lowest plan. And, if you use more messages than you need, you can always upgrade down the track. So feel free if you want. I'll send out an email after this, but if you want to give it a crack, it's a 10-day free trial, but if you sign up today and give it a crack, I'll extend it up to 30 days for you. Now, back to strategies, back to how we can grow the database. So the biggest thing I've found, and it's a priority for most agents, is how can I grow and build my database with new homeowners, right? How can I get to where Diego's at with 2,000 homeowners on my database? Maybe you only got 100 people on your database who are homeowners and you want to grow that. Now, one really simple strategy, which I haven't shared before, and I've only briefly shared it with you, Diego, the last couple of weeks ago, which is how can you leverage your listings to build your database and ultimately win more business off the back of that. Because the reason why I bring this up is the common challenge is most agents don't have the physical address. They might have their name and a phone number, but in my opinion, that's just a list of names. If you don't have their address, then I don't think you have a database. I don't know if you agree, Diego. Like if you just have a name and a phone number, it's just a list. But if you've got an address and an email and all of that information, it allows you to have meaningful conversations with people, and that's what I would classify as a proper database of homeowners.
I couldn't agree more. The reality is that name and address, a name and address. To call it a database, you need to have certain amount of information for you to be able to give them relevant information and touch points across the year, right? So you need to have the settlement date, so the purchase date, because obviously that's going to be an anniversary opportunity every year. You need to know however you're going to categorize your database, you need to have as much information there as possible, right? Because otherwise, yeah, what do you do with it?
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's a couple of questions I've just seen come in the chat now is, hey, I'm a new agent, or hey, I haven't been collecting addresses. How do I grow it? And not everyone has a massive budget for marketing for lead generation. So how can you leverage your existing listings and future listings to grow that database? And so that's kind of what I want to share with you now, is how you can specifically do that. So what we've come up with, and it's built into the Connect software, is called the listing flywheel. And basically, you're probably already running a social campaign for your property listing. You're probably doing a Trade Me, One Roof, or some type of package that's a social package that promotes your listing. What we do differently at Connect is we generate buyer inquiries. We don't focus on how many people viewed the listing. We focus on how many people are actually inquiring. So when they click learn more on your Facebook ad, they're putting in their name, email, phone number, address, and then get redirected through to the listing page. Now, why that's an advantage is that it allows, at the end of the campaign, our system to check every single buyer inquiry to see, do these people own a home as well? So you might get 25 inquiries coming through, and 5 of them might be local homeowners or your prospective vendors. And we automatically add that to your Connect database into the digital leads section. So if you ever play around with Connect later on, you'll be able to go to the digital leads section, and you'll see digital leads, and those leads have been generated through a listing campaign. And so you're using vendor paid advertising to build your database of future homeowners and for future prospective vendors. So you can basically leverage a listing to turn it into 1 to 2 extra listings. So to give you an idea, average agent spends about $350 in Facebook ad spend, typically get around 36 buyer inquiries on that listing. And on average, 18% of them are local homeowners. So it means you're adding 6+ future vendors to your database in Connect automatically at the end of the campaign. And so if you still got the Connect app up, you can go to the digital lead section and you can play around with that. But basically, once a lead goes into Connect from your listing campaign, you can then send them a message, and it might say, hey, John, I noticed you recently checked out one of our property listings on social media. Hope it caught your interest. Hey, on another note, I thought you might be curious to know that 15 Smith Street in Howick, a 3-bedroom home nearby to you, just recently sold for $950. If you'd like more details about this sale, if you'd just like to know how your property's value has shifted since you purchased it back in January 2020, just reply with the words price update, and I'll happily send you a personalized price estimate. Let me know if anything else. Have a fantastic day. So you're prospecting off the back of your own listings. And so we are pulling through all of the information about that potential homeowner, when they purchased it, their purchase anniversary, their location, etc., because they've provided their address. And so that is a way of, I guess, leveraging those listings to actually grow your database and pick up more opportunities through the Level Up listing campaign. So Diego, you might know Charlie. Charlie did 30 listing campaigns last year, well, 8 in the last 18 months, 190 inquiries came through on those 30 listings, 586 homeowners added to his database. And it was all through vendor paid advertising. So pretty amazing what you can achieve if you've got a lot of listings. And whether you're an agent who just met, who I saw a comment before, hey, I'm a new agent. You might be a new agent only doing 10 listings a year. You know, you're going to add 50 to 100 local homeowners to your database. If you're an agent who's doing 50 listings a year, you know, you might be adding 250 to 500 homeowners to your database. So it's really a powerful strategy where you don't have to spend any dollars down because you're using vendor paid ads to promote the property and get what's best for the vendor. But as a side benefit, you're also picking up by future vendor opportunities off the back of it. So I'll send this information out to you guys, everyone on the webinar, so you can kind of check it out. But we've got packages from $499, all inclusive of ad spend, up to, you know, whatever price, $999. And as a side benefit, every listing campaign you do, you get 30 days free of Connect. So it means if you did 12 listings a year, you've got Connect completely free. So just something to be mindful of. Diego, just before we kind of jump into the Q&As, for any quick questions that people have for Diego, feel free to drop it in the Q&A section. But I just kind of want to wrap things up. You know, today we covered some 4 powerful strategies to help you, like I said just before, build your database by leveraging your listings, or have an effective touch point strategy that will increase your appraisals, build stronger relationships with people in your database, and ultimately help you list more properties. So we've given you some really powerful, Diego's given you some really powerful strategies that you can implement. But like I said right at the start, you know, if you see value, I really hope you do take action, because education without application is just some entertainment. I thought that was a great quote as well, and I thought I'd add that in. Is, you know, we didn't all spend half an hour, 45 minutes on this webinar today to just be entertained. Hopefully we took something away from it, and we can actually apply some of these strategies into your business, so you can actually move it forward in 2025. So Diego, any final kind of comments, wrap it up before we kind of dive into any Q&As?
Look, our job is to list and sell homes. The prospecting shouldn't be something you spend half your week doing, because if you do that, you will not be able to scale. So I build my business so that I can do 2 things and 2 things only. I help people list the property and then get them to sell them for the best price. And that's all I do. So prospecting for me, it's always been, how can I be in front of as many people as possible by not spending too much time? Work harder, not smarter. Work smarter, not harder, right? They say, well, in my opinion, if you work both smarter and harder at the same time, that's when you truly, truly succeed. And technology is on your side, and ears is part of it. So embrace it. If you don't, the people will, and they'll get ahead of you. That's normally what happens out there.
Yeah, and I've got a question here, Diego, and I think I know the answer to this, but I'll let you answer it, because I probably want to hear your answer more than mine. Someone said, you know, if you've set the radius and Connect to 600 meters of a homeowner, you potentially there's lots of sales going on. Should I send every single sale that happens within 600 meters to them throughout the year? Because that's going to be maybe 50 or 80 text messages over the whole year. Is that too much, Diego? Is the question.
It is definitely too much. It's definitely too much. Well, the good thing about Connect, I only promote my own listings, my just listed and my just sold my own. But, you know, the reality is that until 3-4 years ago, I wasn't as busy as I'm now. So I would promote other listings as well and let them know, hey, this property sold for this much. So I'll pick a property that sold for a very good price, or there is something special about it, or, you know, a property that they might have, you know, but not every single property. I'll say if you message by text message more than once a month, and if they don't engage with you, never, eventually, if you do too many, they'll ask you to stop. So less is more when it comes. People think, you know, you just market as much. No, less is more, but you definitely, the more that you give, it has to be on point. So I would say once a month, probably. What would you say, Ben?
Yeah, I would say max once a month. And I think even if you've got that many sales happening in your area, you might want to reduce the radius down to 200 meters. And that means you're going to be setting something that's even closer to them and slightly more.
And sometimes, you know, I might sell in a place that I don't have many people on my database, so I have to put it out to 1,000 meters, and then I'll always have someone. But nevertheless, sometimes I need to put it down to 200 meters or even 100 meters because there might be too many people, depending where it is. So that's the beauty. You can adjust it.
Yeah. And we're wrapping things up. Is there any other questions? I see, you know, you've actually answered a couple of these questions. Currently, they asked, are you sending opposition sales? You said, Diego, in the past you used to, but now you've got, I guess you're lucky enough to have so many listings and sales that you can just focus on your own. That's correct.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, there seems to be no more questions coming in. I will send out a recording of this to everyone who's been on the webinar today. I will also send you some links to connect, as well as the links to those listing campaigns if you're keen to give that a try and how you can leverage that to grow your database. But thank you so much, Diego, for joining me today. Yeah, it's been a long time since we've done them, so it's good to do another one.
Have a good day, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.